Okay, so I'm gonna talk to you guys. I really wanted to like stay for God's country, but honestly I couldn't. And I feel like the casting was very intentional. Okay, so you guys remember, I don't think I did not do a video on this, but Thandie Newton acted in the movie, what's it called, Scream, or what is this movie called? It's the movie where she's the wife of Terrence Howard, and then she gets like assaulted by a police officer in the car, and that was like a really big thing. That was like a political moment for Thandie, and now this role is like in direct opposition to that. So this time she's playing a professor at a university, and basically there's these like poor white people who keep like assaulting and attacking her, and I had to walk out when they burned her house down. At that point I was just like, too true to life. It was just like, I couldn't, it was a lot, it was very heavy, but like, it was just so many things happen. They kill her dog, they burn her house down, they shoot 3 deer. It was just like, God, like, okay, but here's a part I thought was very interesting. She basically unpacked how she's from New Orleans, which is like a really integral part of like her personhood. And she was also a police officer in New Orleans, but she had to, so when Hurricane Katrina happened and the Thunderdome and everything is flooded, she saw for herself, like, this city cares, the city didn't save her, and her mother was like, she's like a devout Baptist or something, so her mom kept saying, Jesus will save us, Jesus will save us, and she was like, no, girl, we're drowning, save yourself. And so her mom kept saying Jesus would save us, and then she literally just flew out of the state and like moved to, I think this takes place in like Minnesota. There's so many things to unpack about this. Jesus will not save you, and like if you're underwater, maybe swim to the surface. Like that would be the pragmatic approach, but I think you just have to remember not everybody is interested in being alive. Like that's not a thing that like registers. So the movie starts with her cremating her mother who died in the Thunderdome. So she has to go fish her mother's like dead body out of the Thunderdome, ship her to Minnesota, and then cremate her. The whole thing is like completely traumatic. Thank you. It was trauma porn. It was trauma porn on screen, and I thought it was just too heavy because like nothing happy happened to her. It's like the few moments of happiness she had were with her dog, and then all of a sudden you hear bow bow, and then the dog dies. It's just like, black women get no joy. It was just, it's not worth it. It was just another example of like, fuck it here. It's not worth it. The life is not worth living. Some people should have abortions. It was so bad. It was so bad. Man, like, the deer was the saddest part. Like, I mean, the deer was like this shot of beauty, just walking across this, you know, she's like, she does her runs in the morning, and the deer, it was a mom deer and a baby deer, and they would just stop and stare at her, and she would smile and kiss the dog. This happened every morning, so we see like 16 shots of this. And then, of course, these like awful white dudes, they just come and they murder the baby deer. They drop their cigarette right on its eyeball, and she's just, so then she goes to steal the corpse of the deer out of the truck, and as she's stealing the deer, they're burning her house down and they're laughing, and all of it was just like, this is America. Like, I feel like they should have put the flag just right there, just floating in the wind, with like the guy, just, he had the torch, he's like laughing, and everyone just watched. It was like 14 adults, including professors who were her colleagues, watching her house burn down. And all I could think was like, wow, this is how it is, exactly like that. And that's how it is. These are the good people. These are the civilized people. These are the professors. These are the staff. It was, I swear to God, it was very symbolic, but it was also trauma porn. So, I don't know. So she had this, obviously everything she owned was in that house, and even the remnants of like her mother, she had like her mother's, really everything. She had her mother's shirts, her mother's pants, and then this one letter I guess she had from her mother, and it was like a photo of her as a baby with her mother. That was like the last photo that she had. And so when her house starts to burn, they zoom in on the photo being burned in the home, and it was just like, wow. It was traumatizing to watch. It just reminded me, because you know how like, I'm gonna see it again maybe because I have more stamina, so I knew the story was gonna be good, just in the same way that Master was great. But like in this story, she has like a lot more autonomy. Of course, there's all the regular shit, like the awful people who say like, we don't care about diversity and inclusion. There's all those people. Then there's like the one Jewish chick who's like, I want diversity. She's always there. And then it was like another student. I thought it was interesting. This time they had a student who was like kind of autonomous, like where she was kind of like an advocate. She basically talked about her sexual harassment, but this time she was like not trying to make herself a victim. She was like, I'm okay, I'm fine, don't tell, I worked so hard to get here. It's like, girl, we all worked hard to get here. Do you think you just make it to college by breathing air? Like, no, bitch. Like, we all worked hard to get here. Why does everybody think they have like an incredible sob story? She overcame more than everybody else? No, she didn't. No. It's like that Tyra moment. We should just play that Tyra clip over and over. We believed in you. We all believed in you. Oh man. There's just so many parts. There's just so many parts of it. And then of course, like the two dudes who burned down her house work at the Dollar Tree. That was like the icing on the cake. Just like, Jesus, like I can't even. Incredible.
Sandwich okay?
Yeah. It's
Wine
really
better?
good. I didn't taste it yet.
Okay. At least the sandwich is good.
Yeah, the sandwich is delicious. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I wanted to see it. I like look at, because they only play it once a day. So I can only see it on the weekend. We'll have to wait till this one comes out on Prime or something, but it was very intense. Like, it was just like, it was a lot. It hit a special place at home. So another thing that's very interesting about this film, and this also echoes Master, I've got to say, because I've just felt this sentiment that like this is one of the reasons like Camille and I connect on so many levels. So she's like a black professor in this case, right? And so she's in like a PWI space. There are no black male characters. Like, there's no black male people at all around. They don't even exist in there's none that work at the grocery store. None are her neighbors. None are her colleagues. None are her students. They're not in the space. And I really want to make it clear, like, that's kind of how it ends up playing out. Like, there's this false notion or something that we're all living in the same worlds and we're all having shared experiences, and we're not. Like, this is why, like, I literally have a brother, but we live in different worlds. Like, he doesn't occupy any of the spaces that I occupy. We don't know any of the same people. We have no mutual friends. I invite him to none of my events, none of my talks, nothing. Like, he's never there. And we live in polar opposite worlds. That's literally my brother. Like, I can't just, in the movie just does such, it's like erasure without even acknowledgement. It would almost be like, yes, no black males were ever born. They just never existed at all. It's hard to put it into words, but you can like watch the films and then you start to see it for yourself. Like Master does it and then this one does it too. As soon as you enter academic circles, here's what you have. You have continental Africans, most females who are extremely highly educated, and then you have like, I don't even know what it is. They just like fall off planet Earth. It's just, I can't explain it. But then you look outside and you start to drive around and you're like, but I see their bodies. They're walking around, they're doing things. The statistics say that they're alive, but like, where are they? I don't know. I can't tell you. Like, we don't have similar stories. Like, the therapy that I need is different from the therapy that we need because we don't have the same trauma. Like, they don't contextually understand what I'm going through. We don't have a shared experience. Oh, that's really good. like at all. And I think we have to just be clear about that. Man, that's hard to say. Oh. That's pretty good. It's like cream cheese, I think. I don't know, guys. This is another reason why I feel like I would just be happier in Germany. Because, like, new language, fresh start, none of the baggage. The burning the house down was the part that really just... That's when I had to walk out. Like, when I saw the house burning, I was just like, man. It was more than I could stomach. And I wanted to know how it ended so bad. I had so many questions. I thought I could, like, stick it out, you know? I couldn't. I couldn't stick it out. There have been so many people who've really been run out of towns. I mean, I was almost run out of this town. You guys saw that crackhead who, like, chases me around. It's, like, all the time. Very weird. Oh, that's really good. Wow. What kind of wine is this?
It's Italian Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh, cool.
Is that right?
What year? That's okay if you don't.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.